Welcome back to my channel. Let's delve into the story of an incredible ancient battle, shall we? In the misty corridors of ancient Indian history, hidden among the hymns of the Rigveda, lies an epic battle that shaped the course of Vedic civilization, the Battle of the Ten Kings, or Dashragya Yudh, as known in Sanskrit. This legendary conflict was not merely a war of spears and chariots. It was a battle of egos, alliances, and destiny, a confrontation where a lone king stood against a coalition of 10 mighty tribes and emerged victorious. But how did it all begin? At the heart of this epic stands King Sudas of the Bharat tribe. Guided by the sage Vashisth, Sudas ruled over the fertile region near the Saraswati River in what is now Punjab and Haryana. He was a progressive king, keen on centralizing power and advancing agriculture and culture. His growing influence, however, sparked fear among neighboring tribes. The conflict arose from political and personal rivalries, particularly between the royal priests Vashisth and Vishwamitra. After Sudas replaced Vishwamitra with Vashisth as his chief priest, Vishwamitra, feeling slighted, orchestrated an alliance of 10 tribes to challenge Sudas. Alliances are forged not out of friendship but out of shared fear. Enter the coalition of 10 tribes banded together to crush Sudas. Among them were the Purus, Yadus, Turvasus, Druhyus, Alinas, Anus, Pakatas, Bhalnas, Shivas, and Matsyas. These tribes, who often bickered amongst themselves, united under a single banner, an alliance orchestrated by Vishwamitra. King Sudas led the Bharats, a prominent Vedic tribe. This wasn't just a political war, it was also a spiritual battle between two powerful sages whose mantras and rituals were believed to tilt the fortunes of war. The battlefield then was charged not just with arrows but with the invisible power of Vedic chants. The decisive battle took place on the banks of the Parushni River, which is actually the modern-day Ravi River. The battle was marked by strategic ingenuity rather than sheer numbers. Sudas's army was significantly outnumbered, with about 10,000 warriors against the coalition's 66,000. The 10 kings believed that sheer numbers and a superior river crossing would guarantee victory. But King Sudas, forewarned by Vashisth and aided by divine rituals, turned the tide. The coalition attempted to use the river's geography to their advantage by damming and redirecting its waters to flood Sudas's camp. However, Sudas responded by breaching the dikes, which caused the flood waters to turn against the coalition, drowning many of their warriors and sowing chaos in their ranks, interpreted as divine intervention. Disoriented and divided, the coalition was caught off guard. Sudas struck like thunder, routing the much larger 10 armies with astonishing precision. What followed was chaos. Some tribal kings drowned, others fled, and some were captured. The dream of crushing Sudas had drowned with them in the swirling waters of the Parushni. Sudas's victory was decisive and not just a military triumph, it was actually a turning point in early Indian polity. The battle, consolidated the Bharat tribe's dominance and paved the way for the Kuru dynasty, which would later feature in the epic Mahabharata. Culturally, it marked the rise of a more centralized Vedic society and contributed to the integration of diverse tribes under one political umbrella. This triumph led to the formation of the Kuru kingdom, considered the first attested state in Indian history, and established the supremacy of the Bharat tribe over northwestern India, also known as the Sapt Sindhu region. But there's more. This battle, fought over 3,000 years ago, is among the oldest recorded wars in human history. Unlike the Iliad or Mahabharata, which are more poetic epics, the Battle of the Ten Kings is mentioned in the Rigveda with a surprising realism, giving historians a rare glimpse into the political intrigues and tribal dynamics of Vedic Bharat. The battle is significant for illustrating early state formation, the importance of leadership and strategy, and the dynamic interplay of tribal alliances in ancient India. Though it shaped empires, the Battle of the Ten Kings doesn't boast grand temples or monuments. It lives quietly in hymns, whispers in the verses of the Rigveda, especially in Mandal 7. The hymns don't exaggerate, they don't shout, they simply tell of a lone king who with wisdom, courage, and perhaps a little help from the heavens, defied a united world and won. And in that whisper lies the thunder of an ancient world still echoing through the sands of Bharat Varsh. If you're interested in hearing more such historical tales, then subscribe and press the bell icon. Also share, like, and comment. Everything is absolutely free to you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.